Today is Leo. Leo is a bright, passionate young man whose love for golf is matched by his commitment to learning and personal growth. Throughout middle school, Leo has discovered the true value of hard work and the powerful lessons that come from making mistakes and learning from them. While he enjoys having fun and living in the moment, he's also grown into someone who makes thoughtful, responsible, and compassionate choices. Watching his growth over these years has been nothing short of inspiring, and I couldn't be prouder of the person he's becoming. He's written a fantastic knee speech, so without further ado, Leo John.
I was playing golf and realized that I really needed a quote for my knee speech. And then it came to me that I play so much golf that it correlates with my life. My ups and downs in golf are very similar to my ups and downs in life. So this is why I chose the quote. Golf is the closest game to the game we call life. You get bad breaks with good shots, you get good breaks with bad shots, but you have to play the ball where it lies, so I'll be joking. I picked this quote because it illustrates the lessons golf has taught me about life. You can spend lots of time trying to hit the best shots, but when it comes time to do so, you fall short. So this quote really helps show you that even if you do, there's always the next hole, another chance. In golf and life, there's no perfect. You mostly fail. The key to success is learning and appreciating from all these failures, because in the long run, they shape you into the person that you are. I've played lots of sports over the years, but out of all these sports, golf is the one that stuck. I've played golf all my life, but I never really took it seriously. My dad was continuously asking me if I wanted to play tournament for fun. For a while, I said no, but I soon gave in and turned it down. I was really bad and didn't win, but I started wanting to get better. I never wanted to play again, so now I was hooked on it. I played a lot, and soon I realized that golf was probably the most frustrating sport I've ever played. You could be playing so well, but have a couple mistakes and a few errant shots. Now you're all in your head, thinking very negatively about your game, and doubting yourself. But I still love the sport, because no matter what, you don't have anyone else to blame but yourself. It's mentally tough, and you have to be resilient. This being said, it can be very rewarding, because there's no feeling like hitting a perfect shot wherever you want. And once you've played enough, you begin to focus on not just golf, but on calming down and letting go of stress from other parts of your life. This has really helped me become a better golfer and be less worried about a lot of other things that were going on. Besides the mental aspect of golf, it helped me meet a lot of people too. Golf is usually an individual sport, but it's much more than that. When you go to a tournament, there are always lots of people there too, and you prepare for a few golfers to play. Over these long rounds, you'll probably start to bond with the person you're playing with and joke around. This has made me meet some of my good friends and not take the game too seriously. Now, after all this, I'm still not the best player, but I definitely improved from the first time I played, and I hope to keep getting better in the future. When it comes to school, math has always been my strong suit. In 5th and 6th grade, I breezed through all the tests. I didn't study because it all just felt easy. 7th grade came, I stayed in the same mindset. I was confident, I was not taking it seriously. Then came our midterm. I felt like I knew it, so I didn't study for it. I took it and I thought it was easy. Afterwards, I thought for sure I got 100%. A couple days later, we got our test, and when I saw my friends excited because they got high marks, I thought for sure I aced it. Mr. Franco gave my test, and I was talking to my friends. When I flipped to the back, it said 63%. I thought that must have been a typo. I scanned through to see that I truly got 63%. I was shocked, and so were my parents, since I told them I was sure I aced it. This was a big wake-up call. I was very confused while going over it. I didn't know most of the material on it, and I was getting frustrated. When I finally figured it out, I was happy, but I knew I needed to study more. It took me a while, and lots of work with my dad and Mr. Franco, but I learned to study alone and really test it. And when the final came in that class, I studied hard and got 99%. I was really happy with it, and I learned a hard lesson that not all things were going to come easy. Also, collegiate has proven to be a hard school to not get in trouble at. My old school was much more lenient, and when I came to collegiate, it was different. In 5th grade, it was fine, because all you have to do is get these reflections signed by your parents, and there was no consequence. But when 6th grade started, they introduced these things called points. Now you go to detention if you got them, and this was shocking. It was really hard to adapt, and I was getting lots of trouble. I also thought that some of the points I got were wrong, and this made it so I'd be more mad and get in more trouble. Then 7th grade, I had some pretty bad breaks and got 3 suspensions. I couldn't go in the classroom to man cave. This is upsetting because all I wanted to do was hang out with my friends, but now I couldn't because they wouldn't let me. But I soon realized that All I could do was accept it and move on because you can't dwell in the past. I locked in the rest of the year in 8th grade, so now I barely got in trouble all year. This is hard, but it was definitely something I needed to learn before high school. Last summer, I was playing in a middle school tournament for fun. I was playing with a kid I knew well, and I was talking to him and his mom. They told us about this coach, were speaking very highly about him. So me and my dad decided to check it out. We showed up to the place where he said it was. He was already there and waiting for us. I was confused, so I asked my dad if we were late, but he said this was when we come. We left the car and walked up to him. He introduced himself and let me know where to practice. He was just very casual, and I really didn't know what I was getting myself into. He let me know where we were going to practice and told me to warm up. I started to stretch and then began hitting balls. Before I could swing for a second time, he immediately told me about 10 things I was doing wrong. I was stunned by how much he noticed and how deeply he explained it. He was going in depth and demonstrating all kinds of things. I never had someone who was able to see all these errors. I didn't hit another shot for 30 minutes until he was done explaining everything. I was totally stuck trying to absorb all this info. This went on numerous times, and by the end, he had totally blown my mind on how good he was. Now that I've been working with him for a while, it's completely changed the way I think about the game. Besides golf, collegiate has only me some of my good friends and given me a better education. I came to collegiate in 4th grade when it was still online. This made it hard for me because I didn't know anyone, and it didn't help that I couldn't meet these people in person. But once online was over, I was shocked. Before, I went to a school that had 30 people per class, and it was really easy. I was never challenged, but when I came to collegiate, it was a more friendly environment and it was more challenging. But it was still hard to make friends. I soon figured out that I couldn't wait for someone to come talk to me. I had to go talk to someone. I walked up to a group of boys and introduced myself. They talked to me and soon we became friends. Ever since then, I've met more friends and it has become progressively more challenging academically. I like being a part of this community and it's been a great experience. I'm Korean and Jewish. These past years, I've truly embraced my culture and religion. I used to hate going to Hebrew school. Having to sit through these long lectures and listen to Judah tell me about this whole day was pretty hard. You always have to learn prayers and serious topics. When I was preparing for my bar mitzvah, I was glad I did for those 6-7 years because I knew lots of the prayers. It took a lot of time and practice to get it right. It was even harder to learn how to sing the prayers. But after lots of practice, I finally got my chance to practice on stage in front of my parents and my rabbi. I was nervous, but I did it and I did pretty well. I did stutter over some words, so I knew to get better. After all this practice, I had to do it for real in front of everyone. I was given my tallit and was guided out to start. My rabbi began the service and I was then guided to come to the podium. I was visibly shaking and seeing all my friends look at me and want to throw up. I just wanted to leave, but I know I had to do this. It started well and I didn't trip over any words. I did the hard prayers, but I was still nervous since the hardest part was still coming. I got through the Yotzer and the Bia Hafla before my Torah portion. The Torah portion is always the main part and the most difficult part. There are lots of different vowels and sounds you have to make. It's even harder when you sing. I was going through it and I felt confident. I kept going, and before I could think, I had finished it. I was happy and I was glad that it was done. I was still very nervous to finish it off, but I got through the hard stuff. When I finished, I was congratulated and given gifts. It was fun, but it was very hard to do and worrisome. When I did it, it was very rewarding. Also, I started to embrace my Korean culture. It started slowly by just talking in Korean to my family. I still didn't know it, but I knew a few words. Last year, we went to Korea. We met my distant family and traveled to different parts of the country. We tried foods ranging from spicy stews to black bear barbecue. We went from the Snow Peak Mountains in the north to the seafood markets in the south. We saw palaces and learned the history of this tiny country. We saw North Korea from the DMZ and one of the tunnels where the soldiers tried to invade. We even flew to a volcanic island. This trip has ignited my interest in Korean culture. This one I asked my parents to give me a tutor to learn the language better. I've been taking lessons ever since and I've begun to understand it better. And I'm excited for my next trip because I know I'll be back in the future. Now my dedications. I'd first like to dedicate my advisor, Ms. Khan. When I first got into her advisory, I'd only heard good things about her. Now I can say that these are true. She's always super chill and I can talk to her about anything. My second dedication is my mom. She always supports me and has my back. I can talk to her about anything at any time, and she proved throughout the speech with me. My third dedication is my dad. We spend lots of time together on the course, sometimes too much. He's my role model and always gives me advice. And I know he won't admit this, but he loves to be my caddy. And even though he couldn't be here today, my last dedication is to my brother. He always makes sure to embarrass me in front of my friends and take my food without asking. But besides that, he's the best older brother I could have asked for. He knows how to make me laugh, and without him, my life would be much more boring. Middle school has been a long and stressful journey for me. I'm sure everyone else in my class will agree. I found my ups and downs in golf and at school. I've made great memories and met lasting friends, but I've also made dumb decisions and learned the consequences from them. That is why I chose my quote: golf is the closest game to the game we call life. You get bad breaks from good shots. You get good breaks from bad shots. We have to put the ball where it lies. Because it reflects my whole middle school journey, from start to end. Thank you for listening to my message.